been stairs previously here. Did you hear that?
Yeah, she wanted to know if there can be stairs.
If there would have been stairs, and if these glass structures are fairly new regarding the timeline of 2010.
So we would require stairs and the glass to be new.
No, what I'm saying is whether the glass structures could have been added and everything here could have been added post 2010, and whether stairs could have been removed, if they could have pre-existed and been removed.
Take a note of that.
If you say stairs, how many stairs are you thinking? 1, 2, 3, 4?
I don't want to be exact, but I know that it was around, if my memory serves me well, 5 to 6. Because I don't remember taking, because I was on crutches.
Yeah, but it wasn't 1 and it wasn't 20.
No.
There's a photograph attached to her statement which shows the number of stairs. It's that number of stairs.
No, hang on. Let me answer your question. You asked me the question. I was on stairs. When I was assisted into the house by the guys that fetched me from the airport that took me to Sahara and then to the house, I did not go through many stairs. And when the president escorted me out of the house, again, I did not go through many stairs. So it's not like, it wouldn't have been 10, 12, 20, and it wouldn't have been 2 or 3.
But I'll say again, there is a photograph of the stairs, and it's those stairs that she says
No. No. Your recollection is not correct.
Can I just say, if I may, can we deal with what we see here at the properties? Can we answer questions here about the properties, and we leave whatever is on record? What's on record is on record, and shall deal with it in the fullness of time.
And in fact, he's getting the record wrong.
It's quite all right. Let's we move on to the next property then, Ms. Major.
Yes.
Okay.
it's on the other side of 5.
This is 7.
This is 7, we're at 5.
So now we go to 3.
Where's my guy? He's deserted.
I'm going to take that one off.
Well, I'm for
No pause. Not going to be positive being other not sky pause.
I will talk about it. I just dig deep into my memory. far, but I will make a comment about how we go and how it applies. Something is not genuine. Experts to check when the structures on top of the walls were installed.
Are you talking about the
The metal, yes.
the metal thing? Do you not remember that?
Look, I may not have looked up because when you enter, you're not looking like, you know, but I need them to their age to be established.
Okay.
Where's my phone? Actually, I should show off my, because of the sisters that support me. The sisters in my church, and my own sisters. They did this for me. To take, yes.
Take notes.
Yes.
Number 3, she can look from here. If she wants to go closer.
Just do this. Take a shot of the gate so that it shows we are at a different property. You want us to go in, Matt? You want us to go to the property?
This is number 3.
Do not waste of time.
We can see this one. Okay.
Not unless there is a structure behind that structure, but I doubt.
This is a shot from the gate, so we are yet at a different property.
You know why I say no? The house was like this. Okay, all right. Yes. Because there is no gate here.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be, even if it was interfered with. Also because I would have spotted other properties. And I spotted that they are nowhere to be seen here. I mean, from this.
Okay, this is the fourth of the 4 properties. When we stood at the gate of number 3, Saxonwell Drive, you excluded that as a possibility.
Which
Yet
one?
The one next to the current property, number 3.
That is if there is no structure behind it.
Would you like us to check if
Yes.
there is a structure?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that we would have gone through all 4, you had wanted to see the entrances before we go inside.
Can you just take a little bit of a walk? That's it.
Absolutely.
You don't want to lose you and the camera and what?
You just made a comment, definitely no.
The reason why I say definitely no, I've looked at this, I've studied botany.
Yeah.
I know that you can buy a tree, you can get a horticulturist and develop a garden where there was no garden.
Yes.
But the roots of this tree suggest that it's a tree that's been here for quite a long time. And it's a tree I did not see, I would not have, did not see.
Okay.
So, this side I definitely will out.
Now,
Just have a look at the back of 3.
you had wanted to see the back of number 3 Saxon World before you excluded it as a
Yes.
possibility.
Yes.
You can
Oh, this
see
is
the
the
back
back.
through the fencing here. Do you want to get onto the actual property?
No.
If you go there, you can look.
I don't think I want to waste time. I really don't think I want to waste time.
That's the structure of number 2. This is where you thought there might be another.
Yeah. No. That's not me.
Okay. Now, we have looked at the exteriors of the 4 properties. Would you like us to go into each and every one of them?
Can we just clarify before we do that? Are there any other houses in Saxon World Drive or in Saxon World which are owned by the Guptas?
Another question. Through you, Advocate Gozen, Advocate Masa. I would like the commission to go and establish the house that Mr. Duduzane Zuma occupied in 2010, in the sense that his father said, my son lives next door, like pointing, like when he was offered something to eat, when he said he would not, he said that he was going to eat like Duduzane's house just next door.
Okay.
Do we know that?
Can I just say that may very well be an important issue for your evidence, but I think it's a side issue for purposes of our inspection. Yeah. Our inspection was intended to inspect the Gupta-owned properties in Saxon World. So I would like us to conclude that aspect of things. I have no difficulty in being requested to conduct further investigation on one or other aspect.
No, you know why I'm asking the question? It's because there was no, amongst the houses, the 4 or 5 houses, as I said, there was no partitioning, and there would be no partitioning between the house that Duduzane occupied and the house that I was in. So that's where my question is driving towards.
Can I say, we've noted the question. I would like us to conclude about these 4 properties.
Yes.
Where to next?
Yes.
As I said, when we were at number 5, you requested that we visit each property in turn and only look at the exterior, and then only subsequently go back to the houses and get a sense of the interior of the houses. You have made comments that would suggest that you were excluding some properties.
Yes.
Now that we've seen we're at the 4th, is there any house you in particular exclude and you think you are of the view that it does not merit any further investigation, the interior thereof? Or would you want us to still gain access to each and every single house?
I would prefer to gain access first to the 2 houses, the houses that I did not exclude.
Okay, now for the record, which ones did you not exclude? Remember, to assist you, we are now at 1 Saxon World. It is bordered by 3 Saxon Worlds, followed by 5, and followed by 7. When we arrived here, we started at 5 Saxon Worlds. We then moved on to number 7, came back to number 3, and we are now at 1. So by numbering, which ones did you not exclude?
5 and 7. Okay. Those are the ones I would like to
start
go
with.
into, to start with.
All right.
And but I want to ask the question.
Okay.
Where could the other houses have gone to?
I'm not able to assist you. I've never been here. Maybe you want to repose your question.
Yes.
I don't know which house was here and has gone somewhere else. So maybe you want to repose your question and see if I can help you.
Perhaps we can just go and have a look at the
Okay.
houses.
I think so.
I will think about the structure
All right.
of my question.
That's fine. So now we're going to 5 and 7. Okay.
No, I don't think that.
Can I request that our private, because this is a consult, this is a discussion between us and the same.
Okay, I think I should organize you guys like for some election rally song. If you want us to rest, because you already given it.
I get to where I'm saying, where was I? If you can't find the email, just talk to the mother. Then this is bigger. Then stop here. Can this gate be opened? Is it impossible to open it? I don't know what the difference is. No, I think going through the gate first of all.
Yeah.
There's a request.
Okay, let me see.
Open.
Can we open the gate? Where's Mark?
About the gate. This gate flaps opens like the gate that we went through that day. So I don't know if it's this one is a new thing, but hence I asked that it should be open because I wanted, amongst other things, to check if it opens the way it did when we were here in 2010. And also it gives me the sense of distance when I go through it. Unlike when I go like this, it disrupts my distance calculation. So for now, this gate opens in the manner in which the gate we went through opened. I'm not saying this is the gate, but the gate opened in this way. I need to make a comment about stairs. You know, when stairs are designed in different ways. These stairs are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But you can actually, they can also become 5 stairs, where you compress 2 stairs into one. And I remember that I did not have to take short, quick steps on that day. they were spaced enough. So that's the comment I would like to make. I'm not saying these are the stairs or these are not the stairs, but I did not take quick, short stairs. These pillars, I did not take the number of the pillars. I did not take notice of the number of pillars on that day. So I would not be able to comment, but I would like the structural experts to check for me the age of these, especially these cubed tiled concrete structures.
What, the base of the pillars,
Yes,
not the pillars themselves?
yes.
Check for what?
I said their age.
You got that?
Do you want them to check whether the 5 or 6 stairs have been turned into 10 stairs?
I said on the day I did not take quick short stairs. I took 5 or 6 broad stairs because I was on crutches. I did not. If you are on crutches, you struggle a lot when you go over short stairs. But if the short stairs are not, you don't struggle that much. But I also want to request these base structures of the two in the middle, because I don't remember too much.
So are these not the stairs you went up?
I'm not going to allow you to say things I don't want to say.
Okay.
I've asked structural engineers to check.
Ms. Mentor, if you may permit me, this is not a point at which you testify about anything that you see. You make a request, you've asked us to look into the
Yes.
question of the steps. You say to your recollection, there were fewer,
Yes.
as you stated. So you want us to check structurally whether they could have been changed in the intervening period. You want us to check the base of the pillars to the entrance, and in particular to determine the age of the bases. Am I,
Particularly the bases.
so it's to determine the age.
Yes.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like us to do before we go inside?
No, if we go outside, I cannot comment about pot plants, but pot plants.
No, you don't have to comment about anything. Is there anything you'd like to draw our attention to before we go inside?
I think I've already drawn. No, let's go inside.
Okay. After you.
On the stairs, I really need help.
No, let us help around the floor.
What have these got to do with it, yeah? We don't even know whether this is the house.
There were no stairs in the house that I entered on the left. The house that I entered that day, you walked through, and then what do you call the lounge of the holding area was in that direction. So these features, I would like them to be, including these stairs. The house that I entered did not have, I don't recall stairs on my left.
Okay. For record purposes, so we're just now at the foyer. The first thing you point out is you don't recall the staircase upon entering. Okay? Do you recall where you were led to sit down? Do we go left, do we go right?
Propagate towards the right.
To the right. Okay. Is there anything you recall about this foyer particularly?
Let me go that side.
All right. After you.
She said there were no stairs. Then she said she doesn't recall stairs. It's on the record.
I would like to make a thorough way to that side.
Please say that again.
I would like to go behind the structure, this wall.
I don't think you can go beyond that wall. You can go this way.
Let's go.
But there is a door here.
Let's.
And let me show you.
Sorry, Mark, before you move, she points out there's a door here. Can't we gain access through this door?
I'll show you. Just
Okay. They say they demonstrate something to us before they answer that question. So let's follow them and see what is
No, I will still ask about those. I have not yet asked. Just a minute.
Sorry, before you wanted to ask something.
that door is the door that she was pointing to on the other side.
Can we go back to where we were standing? I would like to point out that this height corresponds with the majestic height of the place I was seated in. I'm not talking about the glass structure there. I'm talking about kind of. Let's go this way. I would like engineers to check the age of this.
Before we get to that, I was waiting for you. Oh, there's one.
Check what?
No. Before I get into that, now that we've walked in through the door, are you able to indicate, to the best of your recollection, the pillar you spoke of, where it was positioned?
That's why I need to go this way first. But I was passing here and I was saying, I need this structure's age to be determined. This wall.
Can we state for the record for what purpose are we making that determination?
Because I don't recall it.
So is it your suggestion that to your recollection when you were here, this wall wasn't here?
In the sense that when the lounge or holding area I was taken to was like that side, and to walk to it and from it, there was enough space. There was no hindrance. And you see, that side, I was confined to an area. My next point is I need to ask, what are these structures and what is behind them?
Is it possible that we take it a step at a time? We were outside, we then walked through the front door, which we've done. My question to you is, in relation to the front door, where would you say the pillar was? Are you able to give us a rough indication? Please do so.
I need to maneuver because there was no structure like this. it would have been to, let me check there. This space and this space is I need to get to behind those two structures there, because the pillar was, there were one giant window or two giant windows, and behind that window or windows there was a giant pillar. But because I don't see those windows now, and there are walls that I don't recognize.
So you're saying you are able to indicate where the wall was relative to a window? So we must
You mean the not the wall, the pillar?
the pillar, yes. So we must first find the window and see where the pillar is relative to that.
I'm saying two things also.
Yes.
I'm also saying that the walls that I met right now, that we met, when we came through, the walls that determine, that make new partitioning here,
Yeah.
do not make sense to me. They do not link, because it was a kind of a hollow. I went into a hollow,
Oh, I see.
what do you call this thing? Kind of foyer, and then into a holding room lounge with no smaller partitions like this.
Okay, then can we get back to the foyer and take it from there?
I don't know what you mean by those structures, but open doors.
So while we are in the foyer, what do you say is about this foyer is on the wall? See on the net.
I already said that I don't recall this. I already said that there was no wall in front of me.
Okay?
This wall and that wall, and the doors.
All right, so you don't recall, with your back to the door, you don't recall the wall on your right? You don't recall the wall immediately ahead of you, where the mirrors are?
This area is.
And what else don't you recall? You don't recall the staircase? You don't recall the space here?
Yes. There was
We could walk
Far
through
away,
space,
you know?
And you don't recall that space over there?
yes.
All right. Then,
What is behind those doors? And maybe also this way too.
That door comes into this room.
let's go through, we'll go through this door.
This room was not here. Like when I moved in here, I want to see this repeatedly. There was an open hollow space where you walk through towards the holding place, which is, I don't know what they call it, holding place or a lounge. So this structure, this room was not there. This would have been, if this is the house, this would have been an open space through which I propagated towards the right, where I was meant to sit.
Okay.
So this is not the house?
No.
I didn't say that.
So you want the structural engineers to
Can I-
determine whether all of these walls have been built since 2010. Is that correct?
Ms. Mentor indicated that to her recollection, when you're standing in the foyer with the door to your back, she does not recall from the outside. This entire wall to her right. So she requested the structural engineers to make a determination as to the age of this wall.
This one.
I started with that one, the external one.
And this?
It would by necessity extend to that. Can we go then down the corridor, if it's a corridor, the next point. Now you will recall, just to give you a bearings, we came in through that way, that's the foyer. So you wanted to come down this passage.
If anyone needs the loo, it's there.
I need to. Just open the door, please.
Please open both wide. Sorry. Yes.
As I say, I would have gone like slightly there.
Yeah. So 10 right after you come through the entrance.
Slightly right, not very right.
Sharp
you know.
right, okay.
Yeah, like a gentle right
Okay.
from the entrance. And where I seated, I was seated. I was taken through a passage when I was led to the bathrooms. And I would have seated in this position. I'm not saying exactly
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
The couch on which I seated in relation to the entrance would have been facing that way. And then there would be another couch, like that. And there would be a space in between, through which I was led through a passage when I was shown bathroom doors. And where I seated on that couch, there was a coffee table between the two seats. That's where Ajay Gupta later, Mr. Gupta, later came to, when he rejoined me, he occupied the couch. Before he came, the people that brought me from the airport and that took me to Sahara and then here, when they asked me what I would like to eat, when they were offering me something to eat, then they told me that they would bring a chef who doesn't speak English. The chef came from a direction to the front of where I was seated. So I assume that would be the direction of the kitchen.
Okay.
And therefore, I would like the structural engineers to check if there could have been earlier on, around 2010, plumbing in that direction that would point to a kitchen, because the kitchen would have stuff like zincs and there.
Before we get to the kitchen, if you permit me, can I just clarify? Where you eventually were seated, did you walk through the main entrance and into another room, or was the main door in the very room you sat down in?
There was no other room, there was hollowness. Like I said,
My question being, where you were eventually
made to sit.
made to sit, was it in the same space where there is the main door, the entrance door?
No, as I said, I walked a bit away from the door, slightly to the right. And then I was made to sit.
Yeah, what I'm trying to determine is after you walked in through the main door, whatever the size, whatever the space, were you then led into a different room at which you were asked to sit down? Or were you sitting in the same room through which you entered the property? Do you understand my question? Because when you keep indicating you would like structural engineers to check for certain things, we need to understand what exactly it is we are checking for and what it is you are suggesting about the property as you recall it. My question is, we know there is the front door. When you sat down, did you sit in the one room after you walked through the front door, whatever the shape of that room, or were you led into a second room? So the room you are in is the room that has the front door.
In the sense that I will answer you this way.
Yes.
I did not go into two rooms.
Okay.
I went into one holding room, but there was a bit of a space of walking between the door and the place where I was meant to sit.
But it's still one room.
Yes, I didn't go past a room into a room.
I'm clarifying.
So you want to show us the bathroom?
The bathrooms now. Okay.
When I was led to the bathrooms, it's either these doors, those two,
Okay.
were not existent or they were open. I mean the wooden doors. Because I did not notice the wooden doors, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I would like the wooden doors to be open.
Okay. Now, when you were led to the bathrooms, did you go through another door?
No.
Okay.
I must say that I didn't enter. Just open it.
Is there lunch in there?
Looks like a bedroom. I didn't go into any bedroom, so.
Mike, before we, now we've got two adjoining doors. The first one on the right, would you like to satisfy yourself that that's not a bathroom?
You mean this one?
Yeah, this one.
You mean as I stand in front of it now?
You are welcome to go in.
It's not a bathroom.
Okay, so we can discount that room.
It's not a bathroom as we stand here today.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
But it doesn't exclude the possibility that it could have been.
Part of it
past
could
time.
have. Yes.
You want the structural engineers to investigate whether this was once a bathroom? Or part of it?
It wouldn't be such a big bathroom. Remember, I said the bathrooms were.
So part of it might have been a bathroom and you want that investigated.
Let's go in here.
Okay, the one on the left. Really?
I remember that when I went into the bathroom,
Yes.
what struck me was the size of the bathroom in relation to the size of the house. I found the bathroom to be a little bit narrow
Okay.
as compared to the size of the house and the holding room where I was, which was very spacious.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, standing in that bathroom, do you have any recollection whether you were in a bathroom such as the one you see now? And this is in respect to size, as you recall it, the furnishings as you describe them, and any other permanent features of the room. Starting with size, would it be the right size?
Because I know for a fact that when I opened the door, I found the door to be this size might be the right size or might be slightly bigger, but not too big.
Okay.
What I'm battling with in my mind
Yes.
is I don't recall this part. I might not have paid attention to it.
Okay.
But I do know that the mirror was to this side. What I'm battling with is, what I'm not sure of is, was the toilet seat here or was it here?
And the gold
I'm not
handles,
making a judgment call.
Okay.
I'm just wondering whether the toilet seat
Yeah.
was, but I do remember that washing hands, facing, looking myself in the mirror, I face this way.
Okay. Now, can you just go in and get a sense of the room?
And,
No, I just wanted the photographer to take a video of the room.
can you show us the gold handles?
and then, may I, may I request one more thing, please?
Yes.
This door,
Yes.
I'm wondering if this door, I don't know, I'm not also making a judgment call.
Okay.
I want to know if it could have swung to the right or to the left.
I want the structural engineers to investigate whether the door previously opened the other way, instead of inwards from the left, inwards from the right.
Yes. But what makes sense for me is the narrowness of whatever structure the door was coming close to, whether it was swinging to the right or to the left.
You've been in the bathroom. Is there anything behind this door? With the door?
You mean right now?
Open, yeah.
No,
Just open it all the way to the
oh yeah, no, you're right. The towel rack wouldn't have been here. I don't, let me say I don't recall the towel rack here, because I don't remember washing watching myself on the mirror and then turning around to wipe my hands. But apart from the
Does the door open any further than it is open now, or can you push it back? Is there still scope for it to
it
go
doesn't
back?
go further. And the
And-
structure,
Toilet
Was not
roll
here.
holder, toilet
What's
roll.
that?
the toilet roll holder.
Yes.
Can you show us the gold handles on the taps that you, on the toilet handles?
You know what? There is some gold here, but you're asking me that question fully knowing that 8 years down the line, you can change the structures.
No doubt.
So I don't want to commit too much.
Do you want it investigated whether that toilet has been changed?
The things that I'm not requesting.
Okay.
What's behind this door? Just the wall.
Oh,
There's a wall and a... May I ask what is the structure?
maybe a spare toilet or a towel or a cloth.
May I also request...
There is nothing.
that it should be checked if this is the original size of the window.
Size of the window. And what are we trying to determine with that?
Because this curtain was not there, and because of this curtain, I cannot relate to whether the size of the window was the same.
Oh, I see. Noted.
The toilet was small, either the same size or is now slightly bigger, not very big.
Okay.
But I definitely went through a passage when I was there.
And you say
And I didn't proceed beyond the first door.
and you didn't go through the
No. Not even, I didn't even notice, the door that I was showed is the door that I went through. There was no, if the structure was here, the doors would have been, I don't remember seeing the wooden doors. I might not have paid attention.
Can I ask a question though? Does this look familiar? Or are you saying what you think could have been there should things have been changed? Does this look familiar as you stand here and you look at this toilet door?
What is familiar for me is that there is a sense of passage that I went through, and the bathroom size almost corresponds to. Yes. Let me see. Doors.
I was not a pedestrian.
Yes.
We went through in there.
What surprises me is, on that day, there was no single property, there was no single house in the property. But now I see one house, so I don't know, I'm disorientated.
Please explain, what do you mean there was not a single property?
No, what I mean is, there were a few houses that I spotted.
As you drove through the gate?
No, once we were inside,
Okay. Do you recall perhaps how many houses you saw?
not more than around 5, 4, 5.
Okay.
Another thing is the wall was not so close by the entrance, and I did not take so many steps.
Okay, I would suggest we take it perhaps a step at a
Yes.
time. You are then describing what you recall seeing on your arrival on the day. You can comment on that, then we move to the next issue. And your next issue is the staircase.
Is there only one house in this place?
I have absolutely no knowledge.
Each house is a separate house.
No, I know. What do you mean each house is a separate house? I know it's a separate house. That's why I'm asking, is there one house here or are there several houses? Because it doesn't help me if I see only one house.
Okay, perhaps for the record, we should state that we walked into a property described as 5 Saxonwell Drive. That's the property we walked onto. And currently there is one house. And Ms. Mentor is taking issue with the fact that there is only one house. When last she walked through that gate, there were more than one houses.
In fact, the president said the son lives in one of the houses there. And there was more than one house.
Now, for the record again, Mr. Helens, 5 Saxonwell, does it have one house or does it have more than one houses, as we currently speak?
Well, I don't want to become part of the evidence, but what you see is what existed.
All right,
I have a problem.
no, that's fine, ma'am. We see what we see, it is being recorded. I would suggest that we move on to the next issue. So if you could perhaps lead the way if you can, based on your memory.
I have a problem in the sense that I don't know if I'm at the place where I was. The pillars look familiar. The house I was at had pillars outside, but there was no closed wall like this close to. And These stairs are too many, if my memory serves me well. Because I know when I went up, when they, and in fact, let me just move closer. I don't even recall this garage structure and this steep. So I wonder if I'm at the right property or if I'm at the right angle of the place I was taken to. Firstly, I see one house. Secondly, I see this wall. Thirdly, I see that garage, this wall, this steep. I don't remember. So am I at the right place? Where are the other houses?
Maybe we should just pause it and wait for Mahlapa.
Yes, ma'am. I would need to go to all the entrances. If there is one entrance. Because what I see here doesn't make sense in the sense of this wall. Let me see all the other entrances, if they are there.
That's fair. I think we must go to
Maybe you
entrance.
should help me.
Right, well, then we can go to 7.
Yeah, let's go to 7.
Okay, no, but before we do that, can we? How many houses are there?
4.
4. Do you want access to all 4 houses? Please. Okay. I'm trying to determine a logical way of doing this. Do we firstly go into every yard and then go back to each house? Or do we, as we are on this property already, do we go inside the house, look at the other aspects, finish, and then go to the next property? How best do we address
We
this?
don't know whether this is the house.
Come on. I am the witness here.
Yes.
And this process is going to unfold in the manner that works for me as a witness. I would like to see all houses, go into them, and I will do commentary thereafter.
Ms. Mento, my question is, we've been granted access to all 4 properties.
Yes.
That's no difficulty.
Yes.
I'm trying to understand how best we approach this. As we are on this property, do we finish this property and go inside and move to the next property and the next until the last?
No.
Or do we go through the gates of each property, then go back to the first property to go gain access into the house? How best do we approach this?
The latter.
So we first go through and see the entrances, then come back to the properties, as you wish, ma'am.
Thank you.
I suggest we start at 7, but you can choose.
Just explain to us how they go.
5, 7,
Yes.
3, 1.
How would you prefer to? We are now at 5. So we go to
7. To 7.
to 7. All right, then let's go to 7 second ward.
Where is the structural test?
Kan iemand ons hulp maak hier? Ja, dan vat dis bes met.
Mike, I have a problem with the fact that she's going to look at all the houses and then she's going to choose one.
Letter.
She's got to choose one now.
A letter, because she's not going to find a second pillar and anything like that. She's
not gonna find a Gilbert through it.
Mike. Mike.
And then he's got a few people working with him. So as long as you've spoken to him, the request has been properly communicated to the office.
Like, so before she proceeds, can I please have the name of the expert on the report? Can I just have the name of the expert?
Okay, Mabunda will give you the list.
All right, can I have the list?
Okay, confirm. You wanted to raise two issues, Ms. Rachel?
I would like the expert to check if two things. The property that I was in, the house that I was in, was fairly new, fairly, hence it was sparsely furnished. So I don't know, because I have not been to the other houses, I wouldn't know if the other houses were equally fairly new or if that one was the newest of the properties. The second issue is, I would like the expert to check if since 2010 there had been partitioning. If there had been partitioning and if there had been walls in between added.
Okay, that's just to be clear. As regards your first, do you require the experts to determine the ages of the houses?
Yes, because I need to know
To determine which of the four is the newest.
was the newest in 2010, was as new as it was in 2010.
I'll try and understand that. Your second is the experts to determine whether there's been partitioning. Is it of the whole property and or properties, or partitioning inside the house?
Both. Both inside in terms of wall divisions that surround the properties, and also if there had been structural changes within the properties, inside the properties, and if there had been additional partitioning surrounding the houses.
And so it's any and all structural changes.
Yes,
Okay. That's a request. I'm sure it
for
is
now.
doable.
If I have any new requests, I'll make
No,
them.
that's fine. We are ready to move to number 7. Okay. It's not the last of the request.
I would like the expert to take note of the fact that the colors of the properties were almost like this and were not white. This contiguous wall, I don't recall, and this property, I don't see any stairs around it.